Another one of these check-in type things. Just to let you know what the fuck's going on. And I know, hey, you seem pretty normal. You're playing games. Yeah, you're depressive and shit like that, but whatever. So this has been a rough week. A couple of things that I scheduled kind of fell together at the same time. And so I had the last 2 days, had to take off some time from work to go hike out and take care of a couple of things. First one was a meeting with the probate lawyer, which, I'm not in great shape right now. I'm really not. And every time I'm going for a walk, it feels bad. And when I'm going for a walk to do things relating to my wife, it feels worse. As opposed to I don't know what else, because I haven't been leaving the house the last few days. This week I only left to do these specific things, which is a lot, but okay, whatever. I took care of what had to be done there, and it's as bad as I thought, which means it's going to probably run me close to 10 grand to, even get things underway. It's a complicated situation here, and there was no will, there was no this, that, and the other, and there's money in foreign places. And we'll see. But yeah, it would definitely be a lot cheaper if she had about $5,000 less in the U.S. and didn't have anything in the foreign places. Whether or not I have to deal with the foreign places with regard to the probate is one thing. But then the second thing that came up, and I dropped off some paperwork with the lawyer today on the way to the second thing, I had almost no control over, which was once a week you can pick up stuff that's been seized for evidence. And I've been trying, regularly to, hey, is the stuff freed up? Can I get it? And finally, I got a letter in the mail, the day after I called on one of these. About once a month I've been checking, because the last time I had stuff seized by the police, none of it was returned, and I lost some stuff that was kind of important to me. Actually, the last 2 times, so don't ask. One of it was entirely not my fault. And I don't know with this. But it was a lot longer walk than I thought it would be, and to a lot worse area, down near the UP yards. And I got there about an hour early, but it was a fucking hot day, and I didn't have a lot of water, and I hiked around for that extra hour down near the UP yards, which is not the most pleasant area to be, and then made my way back in. And they were very nice, but it was a lot more stuff weight-wise than I knew. Now, first of all, there's weird stuff on the list of things. There's a couple of things that I don't even fucking know what's up with them, which I ended up looking up when she bought them, and she bought them together. One is this ratcheted strap. She actually got a pair of them. One of them is here. One of them is here in the sense that the police grabbed it. The other one, I don't know what happened, but she bought 2 of them. She also had 2 cornhole bags, which she ordered, and paid a fair amount of money for it. There had to be something. I don't know what. I looked around for the other strap, thinking maybe she used it to fix something. I don't see it anywhere. That doesn't mean I might not run into it. I ran into the lost keys and her green card, which were squirreled away somewhere strange. So that's, there's a possibility that I just have not caught something that, maybe she jerry-rigged something with that, but I cannot figure out any reason why the cornhole bags, they don't even look good for cornholing. I mean, you know, they're meant for that stupid game, not for butt sex. That's what I'm saying, okay? Yeah, I have no idea what use those would be, but the thing is, another thing she was looking at was a punching bag. And I'm wondering if she, like, was doing some sort of exercise thing with this. I don't know where she would have got it from. Anyway, the first thing that I really started to investigate was one of the things there was this clipboard with writing on it. And it's just got page after page of writing. Now, she writes some notes that had been tucked away elsewhere, but I think generally she threw out her notes whenever she wrote them longhand or whatever. And from the disposition, you know, from the contents of this, the only thing I can say is that they were probably written the day she died. There are some reasons not to believe that, but for the most part, that's what it seems like. It seems like the mind is not all there at times. And they're split into a few different things. Stuff that maybe might have something to do with me. It's hard to tell. Stuff that seems to be, and the stuff that might have to do with me is sort of like this, I don't hate you and you shouldn't hate me, but it's not clear, you know, and it's on top of this other stuff, but it's not really clear, and I can't read her writing very well. But I mean, this is a thing that starts out, well, no, I don't think so, because it starts out Nation America. But, I mean, you know, she's bringing God into this. She was an atheist, as far as I know, probably a stronger one than I am. She's got QAnon in here. This might have come after our discussion, because I know I threw QAnon into it. The discussion the day she was definitely not in good shape. She's got like words circled, and the words circled don't necessarily, it seems more for emphasis than anything else where she's got it. But then, yeah, as I was saying, there are a few places where there are statements, this may not have been the one. But then there are ones where it seems like she's looking into herself and seeing herself as evil or as the devil or whatever. And like I've said, you know, she was someone who never seemed to do or wish any harm on anyone. So I don't know where that would have gotten there. And then there's most of it, I am guessing, has to do with fiction or a script or something like that. And it mixes in stuff from, you know, like Blade Runner in with the Velveteen Rabbit, and I don't know what she's doing exactly, but I did find that she did some other writing. Trying to think when that was done. I got access to her external drive, and that had a lot of interesting stuff, but I didn't see that until afterwards. And one of the things on there was a set of different sort of suicide how-to PDFs, among other stuff, including one on noxious salts, which is pretty much the way she went. Yeah, and I'm left with this, geez, I don't know if this is worth anything to me. I can barely discern some of it. I can't tell where she's talking about herself or if she's talking about something else. So in this Nation America, I think, but it might be Native America. It's hard. I can't really read everything. You know, she's got something here like, am I selfish? Yes, I'm selfish. Are they healing all demons? I mean, just these random little things. But again, you know, she was not sane that day. And I get the feeling she was talking about this. But here's the thing. Within the corpus of this, I mean, you know, like there's the QAnon stuff. There's some really weird stuff that I would not have attributed to her. Stuff that seems almost anti-Semitic. Stuff that seems certainly, you know, very, very anti-God and anti-Jewish God, specifically. And it's just like, wow, none of this touched off in our conversations, which seems so odd to me, because while there are things that I don't share, things like philosophy and feelings and whatnot, I'm pretty much, they're just out there, you know? I mean, even when I have this, I admit my beliefs are irrational, you know, and shit like that, you know? I feel, I like to think that I'm really, really honest about these things when I'm communicating with others and to myself. And I get the feeling that she wasn't honest with herself even, and that there were these things trapped inside her that meant a lot more than she would admit they did to anyone, including herself. But, you know, I mean, jeez. And I feel like this is almost dirty to look at, except that, like, I really don't know. I mean, and to share, except that, like, it is stressing me enough. And then, you know, there's references to people who I look up and I'm like, okay, I understand why she would know this person or why she would know this. There's other references and combinations which I think are her fiction. But I'm not sure. It may be QAnon stuff, and I was kind of hoping. Anyway, like I said, I managed to get into her external hard drive, which wasn't protected at all. And found all kinds of stuff that's like, yeah, well, you know, there's really no question here. And I don't know, you know, but one of the last things I looked at in there, sitting on its own at the top level, is a file that told me the password to all of her things. Some of which may not be easy to get a hold of and access, whatever. So, like, there's a link to Parler, which I think should have linked to an account. Yeah, you know, like I said, she's doing some weird shit here that I just did not realize. And, you know, I knew her fear of, like, Black Lives Matter and the rioting and everything, but, like, I really didn't think she would have gone down that rabbit hole at all, because she was always fairly sane. Fears of COVID in ways that, like, you know, we're talking about stuff she was writing this year, you know, if I understand things right. Anyway, but that gave me the password to her laptop, so I went in there, and that's kind of a pain to deal with. It's got two problems. Well, first of all, there is basically nothing on her Chrome browser, and that's been largely the issue with everything else. This one she hasn't cleared out, but unlike everywhere else that I saw. But what she did do was only seem to use Chrome on that computer in order to access sites that, you know, were either Gmail, her work sites, various documents that she had to translate, stuff like that, because she had a Tor browser on there. I'm not shocked at this at all. This is what I expect. Unfortunately, it I clicked on it to start it, and it's missing a component, and, well, it said it needed to update it when it updated, and then said, now I'm missing a component, and I think it destroyed the component or something. I don't know. And I just don't have the energy to go hunting there, and I kind of doubt that there's a history on the Tor browser, but I'm not sure. She had the weirdest thing, like, not putting passwords in her Chrome where they're kind of protected from an attacker's use, and putting them in a notebook page. Now, on her external drive, you can kind of say, well, that's probably not hooked up to the internet very often unless she's right on whatever. She's got that same damn file sitting on her desktop of her laptop. The same exact file. And it's a random assortment of things. It's like passwords, my phone number, password to my phone, which she needed to use, but like that's how she remembered it. I never understood how she remembered things. I figured she wrote them down or something. I didn't think she put them in there. It's funny, she doesn't refer to me anywhere as Enrico. It's always Callendale. And that's why, like, it would make perfect sense that I would not be able to tell what's about me, what's about her, having a dialogue with herself, what's about God, and it all seems muddled together in here. But yeah, and there what I found was in her browser history on Chrome, though, she had looked at all the suicide documents on the day she died, as if she was preparing herself by rereading all of those, which I still have no real clue. But what I see here is a mind gone loose. Now, I'm suspecting this was while she was on her drugs, but you don't get Q theories from drugs, okay? Not directly. Her instigation with suicide type sites, I'm assuming, with the tarot stuff she was doing, with mysticism, with some of the various things she was into, and not mysticism like I have it. I make my own up, right? I'm like, it's the same as, you can't psychoanalyze me, you can't argue philosophy with me. The reason is, it's all me. I'm like, an intrinsic creature, and I am the true solipsist. Oh, I am the roles, as I told Noah. But I see no sign here of anything that is directed at me harshly. Anything that is here, although there were some, but then I realized, no, that's about the Jews, actually, I think. I thought it was about me, but it seems directed more, it's like, yeah, either that or she had real delusions about how much I control in the world, which, but this was all very shocking, and I just, I don't think that this shit drove her to suicide, because we're talking 2019 era, and her real kind of panic and worry was really the 2020 stuff that was happening. But, there were a lot of things on her mind. Now, there's a reference to February 6th. I think she meant January 6th. But again, the drugs she was taking are really do permanent damage if you're taking them. Drugs to kill herself. That, as far as I know, she wasn't taking anything outside of that. Even the painkillers she got from the dentist, she didn't take a single one. I've taken one. I was in enough pain in my hip or something that I actually said, fuck it, I'll take one of these. Because I don't think an aspirin's going to cut this. And it didn't cut it either, so it's like, yeah. But I don't want to waste them, and I just don't, I don't know what to do. Tomorrow, I got work and dancing, and I don't think I have the energy to try to deal with the tour thing And I also have this, I highly doubt that she has a history there of anything dangerous. Like, I have the feeling that anything particularly worrisome she would have cleared from her browser history. Uh, there is no sign that the police were tinkering around in her laptop. I don't know if they tried with the external drive and, just missed the obvious, or if they sat on all her stuff for no reason. I don't know how much they looked at this document. I mean, it's ramblings. It took me a couple of hours to figure out. But yeah. And I also want to look at her other writing notes that she's put on the computer and see if there's a little bit more sense to them. I mean, some extent I can understand it. Like, when I'm scribbling down notes for games or history notes or stuff, a lot of times they are not the clearest and easiest to understand. But they're also never this chaotic. And her handwriting at times goes... I have trouble reading her handwriting, but it's neat. It's just... it's hard to read. But there are places where, she's obviously not in a normal, controlled state of writing. Now, that may happen in moments of inspiration or whatever, but, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. What do we call this one to troll?